What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Burndown YouTube channel. We are still out here on the Malibu messing with the 480E. It is Friday after hours, a little bit later this afternoon. It finally cooled down a bit. We got a little bit of a breeze, so I'm like, you know what, we'll just go throw it down an hour even though it's Friday, and then we'll burn it down the next couple days. We'll bring you guys even more videos. But what I wanted to do today was check this driveline angle. If you watched the last video, we are cutting a hole in the floor. I'll show you real quick just to catch you up. We cut a big gaping hole in the floor, stuffed the 480E in here. I've got a cross member, that's the hooker header one, and then I've got a yoke. So this is actually, it was setting on the cross member, but I want to make sure everything's setting properly in place, kind of snug bolts down. And then I'd really like to get the angle found. But we're sitting on jack stands, so the car's doing a wheelie right now. And then, yeah, you can subtract it and do all that fun stuff, but it's a lot easier to kind of just get a ballpark of it sitting on the ground with the suspension loaded and all that fun stuff. And then it should be closer to what it's going to be in the real world, so the numbers aren't so wild. So we'll snug everything down, we'll crawl underneath, we'll get that done, and then we'll get some real numbers. And then I think what we're going to do today is we're going to take even more sheet steel out. We'll go rustle up that driveline safety loop. I think I threw it on the side of the house. And I'll show you the magic that I had on there. I welded the thing to the end of the old cross member because I thought it was a fantastic idea, because I was, you know, being lazy. So we'll have to cut that thing free, and then I think we can make room, and I'd like to get that where it actually goes now that we have a cross member in place and all that fun stuff. So let's set this thing in place, snug it down, put it on the ground, get the actual angle. I can let you guys know it's supposed to be like 3 degrees is what they're saying, 2.5 to 3 I think with this cross member, but they supply little plates, so I need to make sure that I need both of them, one of them, all of them, none of them, whatever we need. So let's do that. We'll get an angle and then cut the car up some more. Why not, right? It's Friday, let's party. In the last video, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but we just bolted it down and they have these little spacer plates. And then this is my transmission mount that War Performance sent over, so thank you very much, guys. And then the bolts are too short because these stupid plates, so I found these little studs. But it's a little out of whack, and then this one wouldn't thread properly, so we're gonna loosen this, put those guys in, and then we're gonna set it down. That way the studs will keep it lined up. That's why I wanted the bolts in there versus not, so we can get a full-on real deal measurement. But yeah, man, this thing fits phenomenal. I think I said that in the last video, but I'm really impressed with the fitment on this. So, and I'm excited that I know it's probably square, more square than what I would make my stuff. Like even having this out just a little tiny bit because I can't thread that. It's nice that when we put the studs in, bam, this thing is dead nuts. So let me mess with that, and then we'll set this thing down and we will get a degree. Alright, we got it sitting back under its own weight. It's up a little higher because we don't have all the weight, I think, underneath, but this is probably a good running height. Usually this thing is down a bit lower, so let me get an angle. I'll let you guys know what it is. We've got the transmission up underneath there. Look at that, look at how it tucks it up. You know, there's the pan, the mount, it's in line. Got cross member motor, so we're tucked up pretty well, I think, as much as we're gonna get. So let me grab an angle on that thing and we'll see what we're working with. So I got my digital little angle finder out, and we put the car down on the ground, and roughly I'm at like a 2% ish slope. So when I put it on the cross member, it gave me the same slope, roughly kind of like the driveway. And when I put it on the output shaft, it was like 5 point something degrees down. So obviously we have a little more slope and angle because the driveway also goes that way. So if you subtract it, we are literally at like perfect 3 degrees from what I've found. And it's funny because I measured my rear end. I think my rear end was a little off, but I have adjustable uppers so we can correct that. So yeah, we'll be able to zero the driveline out with no problem. And then that's on both of those spacers on that mount. So everything's setting in place now, and we can look at the next thing. Might as well just leave it on the ground, I guess. Yeah, so we're in there, we're on our mount. We are awesome. So I think what I can do is put the yoke back in. I was measuring out the flat part of the transmission without the yoke in there too. So very impressive. Like I said, this thing nails the 3-degree mark. We will put the yoke in, we will do some pull out, and then I will check the NHRI rules. I will bring you back and I will give you a definitive answer on yoke, U-joint, to how far back you need to be for your safety loop. So we'll get the safety loop, we'll make a mark, and I think what we're gonna do, because there's a brace underneath here, you can see the spot welds, it hangs down further, so I think I just want to get rid of that, because that'll give me more up travel, and then we can run the safety loop in here, and then we'll cover that with sheet steel and all that fun stuff. So let's do that next. All right, looked it up on the old interwebs, and it is 6 inches on center of your yoke U-joint. So this would be on center. We're in all the way, and then we should leave a little mark, so that's, you can kind of see where the grease is. So we will give her some pull out here. So there's, that's quite a bit. Let's see where we're at. One-handed, right? One-handed critical measurements. That's how I roll, boys. So we're an eyeball. That's about an inch worth of pull out, right? Give or take, a little bit under from where the line is here to there. So I'm gonna say that is our mark, give or take. And again, the guy's not gonna put a ruler under there, and you know, this is all within reason, I would imagine, if you were a little shy, but 6 inches is gonna hold it better when this thing breaks loose. You want to be closer to the end of it, because the further back you are, the harder when this thing's doing one of these it is going to be for this thing to keep it in line, right? So 6 inches gives us, there's our center to bada bing, bada boom. These guys, those holes with that much pull out. And again, obviously it would change if we had a little less pull out or a little more, but again, they're not jumping under your car with a tape measure. You know, if your thing was way back here and the thing was up there, no, it's obvious, but if you're in the ballpark, the safety rules are there to help you and protect you. They're not there to, you know, some guy's scrutinizing, he's just, you know, a jerk. So basically these guys here, so just before that, so that's not too bad. And then my brace, it's funny because the brace is right here, so it's going to get cut out anyway. So basically need to go to these holes just before it. I didn't bring anything to make a mark because we're batting 1,000. Let me see if I can. Oh, look at that. That's what happens when you get a greasy junk car. You just scratch it with the thing. Bada boom, bada bing. Let me go dig that safety loop out. Let's go take a look at that and see what we're working with, and maybe measure this off and make a cut. All right, here is my wonderful contraption. So this is my stock cross member, and then you're supposed to take this thing and bolt it through, and they have these straps and you're supposed to hang it. And then I just got creative and made my own version. So this is what we are running, and we had in the car. So this is to spec, but I don't know if the hole bolted. I mean, it's welded together, and this is what we're gonna throw back in there. Like I said, I welded this both sides together. So I think what we'll do is we'll just cut it free, so we have just the loop, and we'll measure for this, and then kind of slide this down, and we'll cut for this, so this can cruise down in the floor. And then we're gonna figure out a decent way to actually attach this, I think, to the floor. But we'll get a measurement on it, get the location it needs to be, and then maybe we can cut the floor so we can kind of sink this down in said floor. Okay, so here's our decision, and I reread the rules just to be clear. So it's within 6 inches of center. So you don't have to be 6 inches, it's within. So 6 inches was back here, so we bumped it up. And then what I thought would be a good idea is I punched a hole, and you can kind of see through it. It's a little wonky, but that's the center of the brace on the bottom. So that way we can cut into that brace. And then I think we're just gonna go this line and then all the way out, boop, and just get rid of that. So we'll cut into here and go that way, and then we'll see what is stuck to the brace, or how we're gonna get rid of that. And then that will be the hole for this guy. So that'll sit in here, and then hopefully, I mean, we might even be able to bring like to the top of that or something, and then just go straight or something, but we will see. So then make our cut, kind of slide it in there and fit it, see what we're working with, we're up against, and that will be that. All right, so here's the piece. That was one of those super fun cuts where I had to lay underneath and do it from the top. So we look a little thin here. Right. Top wise though, we are close, but I'm gonna quit screwing with this thing. And that's kind of the idea, but there's more brace back there. So before I get real froggy and cut all that stuff out, we're gonna think about it a little bit more. So that is gonna kind of be the idea. So hopefully we can sink that thing in there and make it make some sense. But it's a little later in the afternoon. Cutting that brace took a little more thought and time than just hacking it out. But again, we're sneaking up on it. That's why that thing doesn't fit 100% now. But you can see the cut is nice and tight, square, and it's where I want it to be. So we're gonna call it a day. I got my Michael Jackson welding glove going over here, but you guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, share. We're gonna get this thing and we're gonna get this transmission in here, and then we're gonna move on. We got more work to come and more surprises around the corner. You guys keep it locked. I'm out.